microdosing acid in your new electric car. You're microdosing acid, you're just picking at the stars. You should probably tell the stranger everything you have to say. Appropriate some culture, learn to shut your mouth. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. Oh, 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 now trigger. Oh, 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 down good boy. Oh, 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 now trigger. You are not a child, this man is not a toy. You are not a child and this man is not a toy. That I haven't seen yet. Oh, you're so woke, at least you think you are. You're microdosing acid in your new electric car. You're microdosing acid, you're just picking at the stars. You should probably tell the stranger everything you have to say. Appropriate some culture, learn to shut your mouth. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. You're playing with these Yankees, but you're from the dirty South. Oh, 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 now trigger. Oh, 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 down good boy. Oh, 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 now trigger. You are not a child, this man is not a toy. You are not a child and this man is not a toy. child, and this man is not a toy. Oh. That I haven't seen yet. Oh, you're so woke, at least you think you are. You're microdosing acid in your new electric car. You're microdosing acid, you're just picking at the star.
Before we begin, we'd like to say that in our opinion it is not suitable for children or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
Go get the belt. Hello, everybody. Good evening. It is the first Raw show of the week. We are so excited. So many great news to share with you. Francis, how have you been, mate?
I've been very well, mate. It's all been good. It's been great. We've got so much positive news to share with you. It was meant to be the 21st of June that we were going to return to freedom.
And we may still return to freedom, but there is a possibility it might not happen.
Yes, it is a possibility, and by possibility, we're going to say it's probably not going to happen.
Well, it is very important that we stay locked down just to keep everybody safe from Boris Johnson shagging them.
Exactly. He's currently on the rampage. I reckon Boris is like a horny werewolf. He's just going around after dark humping people.
Yeah. I think he probably, I think at this point, he's got so little opposition, he could actually do it during daytime as well.
Absolutely.
Just walk around London just bumming people.
Yeah, absolutely. You can imagine Boris right now rutting outside number 10.
Just, hello, sir, please. That's probably what he does.
Vaccine.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably does. Sure. Glad he's doing something useful anyway, because he's not doing anything fucking useful at the moment.
Well, unless you want a little contract for about 500 million quid, then he's really helping you out.
And he's your mate.
Yeah, great lad.
And then he's helping you out.
It's what you want, really, isn't it?
It is what you want. Do you know he was moaning about not having enough money?
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because he's got about 73 legitimate children, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was saying that the Prime Minister's office wasn't paying him enough. And actually, he needs more dough.
Well, yeah, it's because his fucking alimony bill is like the expenses account of a major corporation, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. How many wives has he had?
None.
No, he's been married twice.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, married. But you know what I mean? Like most of his activities in the non-marital arena.
Yeah, so he's been married twice. How many kids has he got?
I don't know. Mate, what are you asking me? What do I have to do with this?
Mate, you voted for him. You should know.
But reluctant. I nearly sounded like Boris there. I've become him. That's what happens. You vote for him, you become him. I voted for him reluctantly one time.
Yeah. Well, it's one time too fucking many as far as I'm concerned.
Jeremy Corbyn would have been better, would he?
Probably.
No. No. Speaking of Jeremy Corbyn, Palestine, the Israel-Palestine conflict continues despite all the tweeting from celebrities. That is a shock, isn't it, Francis?
It is a shock.
They did their best.
They did do their best. I mean, it took the Israel-Palestine thing. I love it how it just gives people like an excuse to basically just go, you know what? Let's indulge in a bit of anti-Semitism. They bloody love a bit of that. They were like, Israel doing some dodgy things, which by all accounts they are. and them going, you know what? Let's just blame the Jews.
Blame the Jews.
What, mate? You've never been to Israel? Doesn't matter, mate. Come over here and let me give you a clip around your head.
Well, there was actually over the weekend, of course, there was a group of people driving around the Jewish area of London with Free Palestine flags, shouting, "Kill the Jews, rape their daughters." So that was great.
That was great.
Yeah, a nice bit of tolerance and diversity there. Very important.
Yep.
And apparently they've now been arrested.
Yeah. There you go.
So I'm sure they will be treated very harshly, as always happens with these things.
Yeah, so there we go. It's all been kicking off.
Big Bowser.
So a Russian, apparently he's from England, that video never gets old, is responsible for the actions of the Israeli government. Explain yourself, KK. Go.
I explain myself by saying I'm not getting involved in this shit, other than to say, and this is actually maybe something that I should say, I tweeted about it because people, I think, ought to understand. And this is, you know, people say criticizing Israel is anti-Semitic, which I don't believe necessarily. It can be, but it's not necessarily. Keep your mouth firmly shut unless you want to get cancelled. Listen, you are one joke away from me not laughing and you getting cancelled. I'd be careful if I were you.
If I make a joke against Israel, everyone will love it. And by that, I mean the left. Actually, will come to me because nobody on the left will come out for me.
Exactly. That you are trapped now. You might as well just do what Ivanka Trump did. If you can't beat them, join them.
Exactly.
Or shag them.
Yeah, shag them. What? Marry Donald Trump Jr.
What? Ivanka Trump is Donald Trump's daughter.
Oh, yeah, of course.
She did not marry his son, her older brother, you fucking idiot.
She might have done.
What are you talking about?
Would it surprise you?
No.
Exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, so let's do Israel-Palestine in about 2 seconds, right?
Yeah, because that's what it needs.
That's what it needs. It needs me explaining it.
Yeah.
Israel is a country in the Middle East, right?
Yep.
It's a state. Jews are a group of ethnic or religious people. Like Ivanka Trump, for example, she's not an ethnic Jew, but she converted to Judaism. I, on the other hand, I don't follow the religion of Judaism, but I am ethnically somewhat Jewish, right? So the Jews are a group of people, most of whom, by the way, do not live in Israel. They're not Israeli. They don't serve in the Israeli Defense Force. They don't vote for Israeli politicians who then do whatever they do, right? So Jews and Israel are completely separate things, right?
What about the media?
What about the media?
Who controls it?
The Jews.
Okay. Good.
Obviously, not Israel. Difference.
Right.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Good.
You've got to get your bigotry correct.
Yeah.
Right. So it is not anti-Semitic to criticize the state of Israel, right? Because the state of Israel is not connected to Judaism per se. For example, 25% of the people who live in Israel are not actually Jewish, right? So Israel is not necessarily the Jewish state, right? So to criticize Israel's behavior does not make you anti-Semitic. Having said that, attempting to hold British, American, Russian, Ukrainian, Venezuelan Jews, whatever, probably not a lot of them around there.
There was a Venezuela.
Oh, really? And
yeah.
then what happened?
They had enough money to leave Venezuela.
Smart. Enough money and IQ to live Venezuela. Anyway, so holding Jews from other parts of the world, or even Israelis responsible for the actions of Israel, the state, is anti-Semitic and ridiculous. Just like holding Chinese people for responsible for the actions of the CCP in relation to the Uyghurs would be considered racist. If someone went on TV and went, yeah, you know what, we need to blame the Chinese for everything they've done, people would say that's racist, and it is, right? So that's the difference for those of you who gave a shit, and those of you who don't, well, you've just wasted 5 minutes of your life.
There you go. So anyway, what we learned from that is Jews aren't to blame for the actions of Israel, though they are to blame
for the pandemic.
For the pandemic,
yep.
The banks, and...
What do you mean the banks?
Well, they're in charge of the banks,
aren't they? But why would you blame them for what?
But, well, for the banking system and oppressing poor people.
The banking system doesn't oppress poor people. It gives them money.
No, the banking system doesn't give poor people money.
Yeah, so if you need to get a mortgage, where are you going to get it?
I can't get a mortgage, mate.
Well, correct.
I'm a millennial. Anton, can you get a mortgage? Exactly.
I'm a millennial.
Right.
I've got a mortgage.
Yeah, and what religion are you?
None.
No. What ethnicity are you? What ethnicity are you?
I'm Ukrainian, mate.
Yeah, you just went in, handed in your Jew card, and got your mortgage.
That's exactly what happened, mate. That's how Santander, that's how they work. You just turn up, you just go, here you go, here's my Jew card, and they just whip out 200 grand.
Yeah, and then they go, there you go.
Yeah.
Have it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And say hello to Uncle Harvey for me.
Oh, mate, you are so getting cancelled. You know what? When I am on GB News, I'm just gonna play little clips of you, and then you get cancelled.
Yeah, well, I don't care, mate. You're going to get cancelled anyway if you go on GB News. You've been doing this for literally about 7 hours a week. You think you're going to be able to control yourself in front of a TV crowd?
No, probably not. No, probably not. I will probably say something about pedos or gammons or something.
No.
You know what? You can imagine if I'm on GB News and then just in the middle of it, I go, "Can we have the gammon cam, please?" And what? And then just like, "Give me back my fish." Oh wait, it's the wrong shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then you go, "What? Stop behaving like a bunch of mingy little slags."
Yes, mingy little slags, I think, would go down very well with the GB audience.
Yeah, I think it would.
As would the idea of a gammon cam itself. But anyway, Harry Williams. Could be that Harry, could be not. He could be undercover. It says $4.99. Prince Harry tried to bring up Israel-Palestine with Meghan, and she sent him to bed without any supper. Well, Anton, we did have a story about Prince Harry, didn't we? And I want to get straight into that because Harry has done what many British people like to do. He went over to America and started lecturing you people about your First Amendment, your Second Amendment, no doubt, is coming next.
Paris. Prince Harry finds First Amendment baffling. He did get 2 E's at his A level, so no wonder. 8 years after Britain recognised the United States of America as an independent nation, the First Amendment enshrined constitutional rights to freedom of speech, a free press, and freedom of religion. Today, however, some 238 years after his ancestor George III lost the colonies in the War of Independence, the Duke of Sussex...
A day that will live in infamy.
Exactly. The Duke of Sussex has stirred up old grievances in his adopted country by dismissing the First Amendment as bonkers.
Well, of course. How would he understand the concept of free speech when he's not even allowed to speak freely in his own house? How's that going to happen?
And quite correctly so. Have you ever heard him speak?
To be fair, I am actually in favour of censoring Prince Harry, just because mainly he's too stupid to know what he's talking about.
Can you blame him? Meghan's like, "I didn't marry you for your brains,
There
darling."
should be an IQ restriction for free speech, and he wouldn't pass. Anyway, Harry, 36, same age as you, mate.
Exactly.
Had wisely,
that's what I'm telling TV people. 36. Cheers.
Yeah. Still not going to work. Had wisely professed his ignorance of the fine detail of US constitutional law when the subject came up in an appearance on the podcast Armchair Expert, which is about the messiness of being human. Less wisely, he waded into the debate anyway.
Do you know what? We should get him on trigonometry, mate.
Why?
He'd be brilliant.
Would he?
Yeah, he would.
So you can talk about being pegged by brown women, is that
exactly
it? That would be the entirety of the sensible conversation.
Yeah, and loads of hits for us, loads of views.
Yeah.
How many views would we get?
I don't know.
Millions. During a discussion about his life in California, the Duke mentioned the media feeding frenzy that developed after he moved his family to LA.
He moved his family. Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened.
To Los Angeles last year to escape the pressure of life as working royals in the UK. Oh, and this, by the way, feeding frenzy was in no way helped by his Spotify deal.
Yeah. Or his podcast, or his Oprah appearances with his wife, or anything like that.
Yeah, he was deal with Netflix. None of it.
No. It was just a feeding frenzy, mate.
Yeah. Before the Duke and Duchess of Sussex bought a discreet 14.65 million residence.
Very discreet, by the way.
Discreet.
I mean, if I wanted to stay out of the limelight and just keep things quiet, that's what I would do. I would spunk $15 million on a little property.
Yeah. Up 90 miles up the coast in Montecito, they and their son Archie lived in a Beverly Hills mansion lent to them by the film producer and actor Tyler Perry. There, they felt hounded by the paparazzi once again.
Did you get hounded in your mansion in LA?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't want to start going down. I don't want to start going down the First Amendment route. Because
Boris Johnson married Meghan Markle. Is that what's happened there?
I mean, he'd bloody love to.
Of course he would.
Of course he would.
Mate, I don't know what that accent was. Please never do it again.
Mate, he would have, the moment he finished with Harry, oh, he probably would.
Mate, are you all right?
No. It's been a long week, mate.
What do you mean it's been a long week? It's fucking Tuesday.
I know, it's been a long week.
Well,
anyway.
You spent Monday at Poon Poons. That's what's happened there.
Listen, all I'm saying is...
You're recovering.
If Boris got married to Meghan, he'd have a litter with her by the time they'd finished. There'd be about 7 of them. Anyway.
I think when you say Boris, you really do mean yourself, don't you?
I'm not that potent. I don't think I could create 7 kids, mate. I don't want to start going down the First Amendment route because that's a huge subject and one which I don't understand because I've only been here a short time, the Duke said. But you can find a loophole in anything.
Anton, if you do work out during the course of the show what impression he's doing, do tell me, because I have no fucking idea at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, later he told the host, Dag Shepard, an actor, and Monica Padman, a producer, I've got so much I want to say about the First Amendment as I sort of understand it, but it is bonkers.
The interview was released last week, but the Duke's comments about the US Constitution were initially overshadowed by other remarks in which he implied that his father and the Queen had both failed as parents and compared his own life to The Truman Show, a film about a man trapped inside a reality TV program.
You know what? It's been a while. Have you seen The Truman Show?
No.
It is a very good film.
I last saw
It's
it probably,
very good.
Probably about 20 years ago.
It's very good. My wife and I watched it the other day again, actually.
Yeah.
Anton, have you seen The Truman Show?
We watched it together.
We did, didn't we? Yeah. So maybe I referred to Anton as my wife right there, which kind of is what it feels like. But anyway, I do not recall in that show him being a multimillionaire.
No,
he
wasn't.
Anyway, however, the Duke's thoughts on the First Amendment have now attained their own separate notoriety, especially among conservative commentators with an appetite for control. Maybe it's just people who care about the First Amendment with an appetite for not having stupid shit said about their First Amendment, which is a key part of their Constitution. Maybe.
Meghan McCain, co-host of The View and a daughter of the late Republican Senator John McCain, tweeted a riposte to Harry informing him, "We fought a war in 1776, so we don't have to care what you say or think. That being said, you have chosen to seek refuge from your homeland here and thrive because of all of what our country has to offer. And one of the biggest things is a First Amendment. Show some utter respect." Not respect, utter respect.
Dan Crenshaw, a Republican congressman from Texas who wears an eye patch because he lost his right eye in a bomb blast while serving as a Navy SEAL in Afghanistan, tweeted a link to a news story about the Duke's comments and added, "Well, I just doubled the size of my Independence Day party." Very good. All right, cool. This is just basically a list of our former guests and future guests here. So there you go. Francis, what is it? Now, obviously I am sort of British, but not really.
No, you're not.
I think you'd agree with me
No,
there.
absolutely. I've never accepted you.
Whereas you sort of are British.
Incredibly British.
In that you like shit food.
Yep.
And queuing.
Yep.
Right? So can you, as a British person, explain to me as a non-British person, what is it with you people going over to America, lecturing them about how to run their country?
Because we know better than them.
What's your evidence for saying that?
Well...
Exactly.
Well, we just do things better than them. Number one, we've got an NHS. They don't have one.
Okay.
So that's, I mean...
So they have better survival rates for cancer, you mean? Cool.
Yeah, but you don't have to be a millionaire in order to be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Or get yourself... Most people who get cancer in the US, well, I don't say most people, but a certain significant portion of them go bankrupt.
I'm not saying the system is better. I'm just joking. So carry on. So because...
I don't care. The NHS is brilliant. Leave it alone.
So because we have an NHS in this country and they don't, that means you can go over there and lecture them about the First Amendment.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Any other reason?
We also have rich tea biscuits.
This is true.
So, Anton, what's your opinion on rich tea?
Rich tea.
There you go. So we've got two. And number three, we've got Zingy Berry Biscuits. There you go. Zingy Berry Biscuits, everybody. We're sponsored by Zingy Berry Biscuits on tonight's stream. They are some of the best biscuits in the world. Fuck rich tea. They're absolutely brilliant.
Francis, just so you know, the main question in the chat right now is, what is Francis on tonight? Some people are suggesting you've relapsed into alcoholism.
No.
No.
I'm on Zingy Berry Biscuits,
No, you're not, mate. Anton, I've worked it out. Do you know why he's behaving this way? I just made a lovely courgette and prawn pasta, and he smashed back a massive plate of it, and now he's off his face.
On carbs, which
carbs.
is good, but not as good as Zingy Berry Biscuits.
Yeah.
Anton, show.
Well, we actually had Roisin, one of our big supporters, actually posted. A lot of you bigots have been posting your deliveries of the Zingy Berry biscuits, and by the way, banging on about how great they are. So here's Roisin says, "Oh my God, they're here, bigots. The kettle is on. Woohoo!" Right? She's got a bunch there. She's also got some crackers as well. Good choice, Roisin. Some crackers is good. And Anton, look at the comments as well. No. We're going to explore the Zingy Berry biscuits in their full glory, in all their glory, because the comments were incredible as well. So keep going. And he says she couldn't even type after this. That's how much of a carb high she was on. She says, "Halt crap. They are so good."
With a trigonometry mug
With
as
a
well.
trigonometry mug. And let's look at what other people are saying. Chris says, "I know, I'm trying to ration myself so that they last more than a week." And Roshin says, "They are so tasty that I've managed to stop after 2 biscuits. They are absolutely satisfying. I haven't cracked open the crackers yet. Looking forward to those." And then they talk about the cheese with the crackers and the whole thing. They are really genuinely very, very good. So check them out. Anton, have we got a link for people in the chat? Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
and
yeah,
you get 10% off and free delivery.
Oh, I love a bit of free delivery.
Oh, of course you do.
Nothing like a bit of free delivery. Anyway.
Insert joke.
Insert joke that will eventually get you cancelled. All right, so Bloody Skies has sent us £2 on PayPal. He says, "If you thought what happened on Finchley Road, that's the people driving around shouting rape Jewish daughters, was bad, take a look at what happened to a Muslim family in Birmingham after one of them dared to suggest Israel's actions might be justified." We won't pull it up as the video, but basically they went round to his house and smashed his door in and then went upstairs and attacked him.
Well, that's very progressive.
And Nancy, it's one of your lads,
Nancy.
ladies. No, we're not going to say her full name, but she's got about 7 names after, and they're all Spanish. She says, "KK, please grab FF's pancetta for me. It is my favorite part of the show." All right, here we go. Do you know pancetta? Right there, look at that. Oh, still there. He's doing weights, but the pancetta is still there. By the way, for those of you who can't see, I'm not grabbing his genitals. It's just his pancetta around the waist. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
He is very sad. Not gay at all.
Not
very
gay.
sad. Well, nothing wrong with being gay. I'm a bit gay, mate. I'm gay for you.
Anyway, so Harry has made a bit of a fool of himself.
Yes, he has. He has indeed. But anyway.
But this is a true story, by the way. I was emceeing a gig. This was back a couple of years ago when you were still allowed to do comedy.
Yeah.
Right? And it was a festival. It was a comedy festival in Norfolk.
Yep.
And I was emceeing it. We were having a great old time. There was a couple of ladies in the front row. I said to them, like, "What do you do?" She goes, "I'm a teacher." I go, "Okay, that's cool." We were chatting for a bit. Her friend, or might have been a sister, don't know, next to her just went, "Ask her what school she works at." I went, "All right, what school do you work at?" And she went, "Eton." I went, "How long have you worked there for?" She went, 20 years. I went, "Did you teach Prince Harry?" And she went, "Yes." And I went, "Did you teach him for A-level?" And she went, "Yes." I went, "How do you justify the grades that boy got?" And she looked at me and went, "I did the best with the raw materials that I had at hand."
Well, you know what? We joke about it, but this is actually the sad part of it is, I mean, he's clearly being taken advantage of and manipulated.
In such a wonderful way, mate.
I know this is what you're into. I know you want a woman who's a little bit smarter, a little bit more dominant, a little bit more aggressive, you know, particularly in the bedroom. I understand all that. But you've got to appreciate that, you know, he is clearly not a bright lad.
No.
He's not.
No.
And he's being shaped and molded into something that's not going to make him happy, and it's not going to be good for him or his family.
No.
I feel sorry for him. I really do. Do you think we should send in the SAS? Just rescue him. I mean, I don't want him back, but I do think he should be rescued. Maybe he can go into witness protection.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, but who's going to be his friend? He's alienated people over here. He's alienated people over there.
Yeah. We can send him to Russia.
You reckon Putin would like him?
Yeah, as a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be
Come
great.
here, Harry. I need something to kick. Boom.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, we shall see what happens.
Yeah.
June hope. Did you see the officer getting involved in the protest? Oh dear, when police don't think without fear of favour doesn't apply to them.
Indeed, we do actually have a story about this. So a police officer, just to set the context for you, I think it was this morning or possibly yesterday, was talking to some pro-Palestine protesters and eventually ended up shouting "Free Palestine" together with them.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And she, I believe, is now being investigated. So Force says officers are not allowed to actively participate or adopt political positions at protests.
What about bending the knee, though?
What about bending the knee? What about kneeling for BLM, as many of them did last year. And that is the point that all of us were making at the time. If you remember our interview with the brilliant Chris Donaldson, that is one of the things we talked about. And from what, oh, there we go, cool. So the Metropolitan Police is investigating an officer who shouted "Free Palestine" at a protest over the Israel-Gaza conflict. The uniformed, rather.
The uninformed.
I read that as uninformed.
So did I.
Yeah. The uniformed female officer was filmed at a pro-Palestinian demonstration in London, accepting a white rose and hugging a protester. She was heard shouting "Free Palestine" to cheers from the crowd.
A spokesman for the Metropolitan Police said, "Bloody good show." No, they didn't. Said, "We're aware of a video that has been posted on social media which shows an officer joining in with chanting while on duty at a demonstrations. While officers are encouraged to positively engage with those attending demonstrations, they know they're not to actively participate or adopt political positions. This is vital to ensuring the public have confidence in our officers." The Director of Professional Standards has been informed and are investigating the full circumstances of this incident and to determine what further action is appropriate.
The footage has been widely shared on social media, where critics called for a swift investigation. Susan Hall, leader of the Greater London Assembly Conservative Group, wrote, "The police are supposed to be neutral. This is not good enough. Please investigate Met Police." Ms. Hall shared footage from a Twitter account with a biography reading, "Conservative and Trump lover, left-wing policies have killed Europe. Anti-EU, despise the Labour Party and communism, MAGA 2024. Well, I know it's funny, but why is this line in this article?
Completely.
Why is it in this article?
Of course.
This is a deliberate attempt from the Independent to present the demand for equal treatment of all political causes by the police, which is what they sign up to do, which is what they swear an oath to do, as a right-wing reactionary thing. This is such a dishonest piece of reporting right here. The way that they have highlighted this is exactly the problem with some elements of the mainstream media. And by the way, of course, it always happens on the right too. Fox News can do something like this. I've never seen them do it as blatantly as this, but that is atrocious. Irrespective of what we're talking about, that is absolutely atrocious what they've done here. Anyway, carry on, Francis.
Footage on social media showed a convoy of cars covered with Palestinian flags passing down Finchley Road, with passenger being heard to use offensive language and issuing threats against Jews. Great stuff. The incident received cross-party criticism, with Boris Johnson condemning the acts as shameful racism that have no place in society. And Jeremy Corbyn said, "Bloody good show." Thousands of people marched through London on Saturday to the gates of the Israeli embassy, while protests took place in other cities across the UK and Ireland.
There we go. So this lady's been investigated. Obviously, as we always try to make clear, it's not about this individual person. It may well be, by the way, that she's not someone who even supports the cause, or maybe she does, but not particularly strongly or whatever. I don't want to see this particular person made an example of and punished, but I do think it highlights the point that Francis and I have been making for a long time, which is politics and these social causes should be kept separate from public service. If you are a public servant, you feel free to go to the demonstration in your own time. But if you're there in your capacity as a police officer to enforce the law, it is your duty to be independent. Chris Donaldson, who we had on the show, who you remember, the police, he got upset with me for calling him a police officer.
He was a firearms officer.
I know, no, but there's another thing, police, not constable or something like that. Anyway, he tweeted today saying the police should be neutral, end of. And that is exactly what it should be. And think about, and there's very good practical reasons for this. I mean, think about this. There are some Jewish people in that part of London who felt that they were being threatened because they were in that point in time. Well, how do you think they feel seeing police shouting "Free Palestine"? Do you think that they feel the police will protect them in that moment? It puts a doubt in their mind. It drives a wedge between a community and the police. And it would be the same if it was the other way around. If this police officer was shouting "Go Israel" or whatever, it would be exactly the same. The police need to be neutral, and they need to be reminded what their fucking job is: protect the public. That's it.
Absolutely. But what about virtue signaling? You've got to do that.
Get Twitter.
Anyway, let's have some super chattios, Anton. Donnell Jones, Neil Ferguson, superb. Stephen Fry, question mark. Did you see his dialogue with JP? Fry's a bit of a crybaby polymath. KK might make him cry.
Yeah, that would be a great headline in the current environment. Jew makes gay cancer survivor cry live on TV.
I mean, it'd be a hell of a clickbait clip for
That
us.
would be great. That would be great. Yes, Neil Ferguson, what an interview, wasn't it? I mean,
one of the best.
One of the best. He is brilliant. He's a great at presenting his ideas. He's done some of his books are just incredible. It was a real pleasure to have him on, and now we've done the double. We've got Ayaan Hirsi Ali and her husband.
Yeah, it was very, very good. We loved every single second of it. What a gent. But what happened to the Glaswegian accent, Neil?
Yeah.
I wanted a...
Well, he's posh, isn't it? He got an education.
You're strong Glaswegian.
You didn't go to school to sound like that, mate.
Yeah, I did. I wanted him just to be there drinking whiskey and just headbutting people.
We also have a PayPal from Thomas Hoffer.
Yeah.
But hold on a second. Thomas has sent us 20 Swiss francs. So this whole time, when I was impersonating him as an officer in the Third Reich, he was in fact being neutral.
Well, or just taking the money.
Yeah, it could be taken. Yes, give me some money. Kill them, no problem. Anyway.
Yes.
Thank you, Thomas Hoffer, for the 20 Swiss francs. And we have 100 problematic dollars. So let's get some American flags in the chat for Oggy Paul Og, who says, Francis says to you, insert joke, and to Poon Poon, it's always just insert.
Absolutely.
True.
Thank you, Paul.
Absolutely true. Paul, thank you very much. Let's get some more American flags.
Let's get some royal family crowns in the chat for Paul Og.
Yeah, let's also get some cruise missiles in the chat.
Yep.
That's what we want.
Abolish, this is from them. Abolish Section 127, Communications Act 2003. Okay.
Cool. Thanks, them.
Yep.
Good.
Right.
Great stuff.
They, them.
They, them.
Patrick Seldom. FF's not going to get cancelled because anti-Semitism is the acceptable prejudice amongst the wokerati.
This is very true. Your career is safe.
Thank God for that. Neil Ferguson interview, just amazing. Thank you, Glenn Slater. We're incredibly proud of it. It is brilliant.
We really, really enjoyed it.
It was great.
And we're glad to hear you did as well. By the way, Francis, we have over 1,500 bigots watching, 1,550 bigots watching. Around 350 have smashed the like button. If we get to 800 in the next half an hour, we will carry on with the show. So do get smashing. Smash that like button like you are Princess Meghan. And the like button is Harry's backside.
Or like you're Boris Johnson and you've just employed a new blonde secretary.
He's not of your persuasion, is he?
No.
He's very he likes it Aryan. He keeps it strictly Aryan.
Of course he is. Doesn't it help with the whole racism claims, Boris? You need to get stuck into a few darker ladies. You know what I mean? Be better for your reputation, mate. Go, look, I'm not racist. I've had it off with one of them.
I got one of them pregnant.
I got one of them pregnant.
And now she's bringing up the kid on her own.
Obviously, I'm not going to acknowledge a child. But let's be fair. When I ever done that anyway?
Wal Ladipa says, watching from Lagos. Good job, guys. Thank you very much. It's great to have people from all over the place. Brendan O'Leary with a fiver says, enough of ginge and minge.
Yeah.
I mean, hard, but straight to the point. What about the many lovers and affairs of Simon Jose Antonio de la Santísima Trinidad Bolivar?
Y Ponte Palacios y Blanco.
It's one of your boys, isn't he?
Yeah, well, Simon Bolivar, my friend, was the liberator, not only of Venezuela, but of huge swathes of South America. And he was a bit of a shagger. Of course he was.
Was he?
Yeah, he loved it.
Latino.
Yeah, he was Latino.
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 Mate, can you explain this to me?
What?
Why do Americans always do this? Especially Latino Americans. Yeah. Whenever they talk perfect English with no accent, and then whenever they want to say something about Latinos, they don't say Latinos, they say Latino.
It's because
I'm Latino. Why? Why can't you just speak English?
Because it makes a bit racist, mate.
No, it's not racist. Speak fucking English, mate.
Mate, when you start talking about money, I don't start saying to you speak English and you start banging on about shekels. All right? Chill out. Just chill out.
So why do they do that?
Because it's sexy, isn't it? Latino.
I mean, when it's an actual Latino doing it, it is sexy. When you do it,
No.
I just think you're being racist, mate.
Do you know, I remember when I was at uni, right, I met this girl and a night in the uni bar, and it was going really well, and she goes to me, "What's your name?" I said, "Francisco." Of course I did. Loved it. And she goes to me, my mate James, she went up to my mate James, she went, "Where's Francisco?" And he went, "What, you mean Francis?" Fucking ruined it. Absolute cock block. Absolute cock block. I was furious.
Oh dear. So why do they do it?
What?
Do you know why they do that? No, I'm Latino. It's like that. I do believe that we should redistribute. Blah, 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 blah. I'm Latino.
Yeah, because it's sexy, isn't it?
Why don't you wear a fucking sombrero then
No,
instead of a normal hat?
because that ain't sexy.
Just walk around eating a massive chili pepper.
Is that what we do?
Yeah, it is what you do.
Racist.
Do you have chili peppers in Venezuela?
Not anymore.
We can't afford them.
No, can't afford them, mate. Worth more than our currency. Anyway, next.
Thank you, Brendan.
FA, Harry's got to go. Sleepover is over.
No, I am not surprised that Americans are getting pissed off about this. If Francis went over to Russia, stayed there for 3 months, and at the end of that period of time started lecturing Russians about how they should behave, I think he'd get more than a few irate conservative commentators in the media.
No, I think they'd love it.
You'd get a little visit, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Imagine if he just got
Mr. Francisco, come this way. We'll show you what Latino really means.
Imagine if he got Putin's head and got a little cloth and polished it.
Hey, you want to be careful. Uncle, I'd like to distance myself from these comments. And I do not drink green tea. Thank you very much.
Next. Jimmy H, not enough of that damn sexy Russian accent. Meanwhile, FF's hairdo coming along nicely with those touches of grey. Thanks, Jimmy H.
Yeah, good. We don't need to remind Francis about the fact that he's in his 40s every stream.
No.
Do we?
No. Do you know what? I went through a period of reminding Anton that he was in his 30s, like every day. First thing in the morning so he wouldn't forget. And he's been very aggressive about it recently.
Well, I don't know. I think he's all right with it.
No, he's not.
He knows he's in the... See, the problem for you is that you being in your 40s is kind of reflective of how you are. Anton is living the life.
He is.
Yeah, he's got me, he's got you.
Exactly.
He stays indoors all day in the flat.
He couldn't be any happier, could you, Anton?
Couldn't be any... He gets fed every now and again.
Yeah.
Right? And he has the opportunity to do the dishes for 3 people every day.
Yeah.
He loves it.
You love it, don't you, mate?
Anton is very house proud.
He is.
He will make a great housewife one day.
Absolutely. Next. Diana Berriman, or Diana Berriman. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you very much. Stephen Fry is also Jewish, if I'm not... Is he?
Yeah, I think Stephen Fry is Jewish. Yeah.
Jew on Jew violence then. That's what we'll give you. Thank you very much, Kalashnikov. Mr. Winter.
USA is live on Mr. Winter at Locals. Just finished Lawrence of Arabia. Great film. It's a bit long, so I'd recommend having an Analu snack bar.
That's really not what it said, but...
An Analu snack bar.
I like a snack bar. There we go. Thanks, Mr. Winter.
Lovely. Spanish is a beautiful language. Fun to speak. Muchas gracias. Eli Muñoz. Next.
From one Latino to another.
Arturo Alvarez Kawai with a 25 pop.
You can pronounce Latino
however you want. We're still much sexier than any other.
It's true. The thing is, that stereotype is about men, isn't it?
Yeah.
Latino women are not necessarily considered sexier than any others, although...
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's utterly bollocks.
It depends on your taste, mate.
No.
No, Russians and Ukrainians.
No, thank you. Anton.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Anton, closing vote, mate. Come on. Come on, we're doing a bit of objectification.
What about scouse birds?
What?
Scouse.
Scouse birds.
What?
Only if they're of Russian heritage, mate.
What the fuck are you going on about? Mental. We're going to have to sack him, mate, for real. I'm not having this insubordination on the show.
Anyway, so there we go, Francis. We've talked about all the important subjects of the day. We've talked about birds.
Yeah,
Latino
absolutely.
birds, non-Latino birds.
Anton's exposed himself.
Shall we talk...
Not literally, but as for his lack of
about
knowledge.
Keir Starmer. Let's talk about Keir Starmer.
What?
He's having a makeover, mate.
No. Look what someone put.
What? Where? When?
Go on, put that back up, Anton.
Scouse birds are the absolute best. There we go. I mean, Scouse is not exactly a race, is it? So
Have you ever been to Liverpool?
No.
It bloody is, mate. Anyway.
We'll keep it that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Anton, let's talk about Keir Starmer, because Francis, he's worked out how to bring the Labour Party back from the brink.
Let's see. Keir Starmer plots television makeover.
There we go.
You know, he's a big fan of five-a-side, Starmer.
Is he?
Yeah, he plays five-a-side.
Great.
So Keir Starmer is considering starring in a fly-on-the-wall documentary as he tries to revive his... Oh, my God.
That'll help. Don't worry about changing policies or anything like that. Just revive his faltering leadership by appearing in a fly-on-the-wall documentary. A production company is in talks with Starmer about trailing him for a television show narrating the experience of being leader of the position.
They're going to stitch you up, mate. Don't do it. It's going to be David Brent. Broadcasters have asked whether they would be interested in the programme, which some Labour sources believe could be a highly effective way to broadcast Starmer's personality.
Yeah, that's the problem.
To a larger slice of the electorate. Starmer has suffered perhaps the most difficult 10 days of his leadership after his party was eviscerated by the Conservatives in the Hartlepool by-election and performed poorly in the local elections across England, well, apart from London. Election disappointment was followed rapidly by a chaotic reshuffle in which his attempt to move Angela Rayner, Labour's deputy leader, saw tensions erupt into public view and ultimately weakened his authority over an increasingly restive parliamentary party. Addressing his MPs virtually last night, Starmer said that the Hartlepool result was a bitter disappointment. According to one official, Starmer said that Labour needs to modernise and speak to Britain of the 2020s and 2030s. He referred to Clement Attlee, Blair and Harold Wilson as the Labour Prime Ministers united in their ability to look to the future and bomb the shit out of brown people.
Mate, we're trying to get him on the show. Can you dial it back a notch?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Talks about the possibility of a documentary began early this year, several months before the local election results. Starmer, 58, would be the second Labour leader in a row to submit to a documentary camera crew. Jeremy Corbyn appeared in a 30-minute film for Vice in June 2016, less than a year into his leadership, and that made a huge difference, and he was triumphant thereafter, as we all know. He was followed for 2 months as he grappled with Labour's response to George Osborne's last budget and Ken Livingstone's suspension from the Labour Party after he claimed Adolf Hitler supported Zionism. Great chat. Great lad.
What a legend. But although arguably the best mayor London's ever had.
I mean, he did well, didn't he?
No, he did.
So anyway.
I mean, it was basically him, Boris or Sadiq.
Yeah. So what do you reckon about bringing back the Labour Party into power via the medium of starring in a fly-on-the-wall documentary about Keir Starmer?
I just think, don't do it, mate.
Yeah?
Don't.
You don't think that's what the Red Wall wanted?
No.
You don't think that's what they complained about when they voted overwhelmingly for Tories?
No.
You don't think they wanted a bit of Keir 58, you know?
He looks good for 58.
Doing the dishes. He does look good for 58.
He's got a trendy haircut.
Yeah.
He's all right. It's like when people took the piss out of his haircut. I'm like, you're going to take the piss out of anything. It's not his hair. He's got good hair.
It's not his hair, mate. It's everything else.
Yeah.
So anyway, you don't think that's what the Red Wall wanted?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, I would have thought so.
I don't know. Imagine that.
What about, do you know?
Do you know what? It would be hilarious to see like the most extreme end of the Labour Party and him trying to deal with them and their nuttiness.
Just him walking through like a Free Palestine demonstration.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like ignoring a balloon of like a Jewish caricature.
Yeah.
Like Corbyn.
Yeah.
Great. So you don't think this is going to rescue his fledgling faltering Labour leadership career?
What do you think is going to sink Boris Johnson? I don't know what is going to sink him now. He literally hid in a fridge before the election.
Given the state of the current opposition, Boris Johnson could shag your mum and everyone else's mum in a rotation on Trafalgar Square every day for the rest of his premiership. And I don't think the Labour Party would come close to landing a blow on him.
That is so depressing.
But also true.
Yeah, it is also
And also,
true.
let's be honest, your mum would love it.
I don't think she would, mate. She doesn't really like Boris.
He's not conservative enough for her.
No, he's not conservative enough. And she doesn't approve. She's so conservative. She doesn't approve of a man like that who doesn't comb his hair.
You know what? I don't disagree with your mum.
She's just like, I don't understand. Why did he comb his hair?
Mm.
No entiendo.
Mm.
What is this?
What is this?
What is this? you got to be fair. It's a disgrace. Buy a fucking comb, Boris. Anyway.
People in chat saying FF's mum loves it.
Mate. To be fair.
Anyway, nothing is going to sink Boris. I mean, look, they've got typical Tory sleaze, right? Shagging everyone, right? I mean, they haven't gone quite as far as they did in the 90s, where every day somebody was getting caught with rent boys snorting coke out of their beep, you know, right? That's cool, but they'll get there eventually.
Well, they've already got
a man has got to have fun.
A man's got to have fun. They've already started. Do you remember David Miller shagging Antonio De Sanchez? Do you remember this story?
No.
Right. Anton,
she sounds fit, though.
Yeah, bring up David Miller, Antonio De Sanchez. Now, this was the ultimate Tory sleaze story. This was the greatest sleaze story of all time. All right?
Was it?
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
Mate, this might be before your time in this country. A glorious time. A time when England was better. When we knew what being English meant. Before foreigners came. Yeah, exactly, mate. We knew what being... Anton, well, we can't do it yet because he's searching the thing.
You can press the button.
Anyway, Anton, put on the gammon cam. When being English meant being fucking English, mate. Not what we see now, which is a fucking disgrace, where people like him have got a passport and they're not fucking English. Good.
Do you want to spot on GB News as well, mate? You can just do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
I'll have a chat with them, shall I?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll get you along, mate. No problem at all.
Do you know what? I wish you know what I should do, right? I should go to question time.
Yeah.
And just as a plant, and then just do one of those little things.
Mate, you'd fit right in.
Yeah.
They just go, could we go to the pink man in the third row? Well, I want to say, right, so we're coming over here.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I think you'd smash it, mate.
Yeah.
I think you could definitely play that part.
Yeah. Ending freedom of movement means ending freedom of movement, you slag.
Yeah. If you finished it with you slag, that would be great. Unfortunately, question time is not live. It's actually pre-recorded. Most people don't know this. No, it's pre-recorded.
For fuck's sake.
There he is.
No,
is he the one on the left?
Yeah.
And is she the one on the right?
No, there he is. Look at that. Look at that absolute top. That's, by the way, that's his cum face.
That is the most British pair of front teeth I've ever seen. Excellent.
This man was a top shagger back in the day.
All right. So former Tory MP David Mellor has complained about naked dancing girls he can glimpse from the window of his home. Why is he complaining?
That must be the glimpse he gets standing tip-top on a stool when leaning out of his bathroom window.
Let's have a look at Antonia De Sanchez, though, or De Sanchez. Where is she?
Right. Let's scroll down, Anton. So
that was the whole point of the...
Yeah.
Is she Venezuelan?
No, but you haven't got to the punchline yet. So anyway, that is a former Conservative politician, MP, David Mellor. He looked like that.
Yeah.
This is a lady. Let's have her looking attractive, please. There we go. And he was with this lady.
Yeah.
Back in like 1993.
Yeah.
He shagged her whilst wearing his Chelsea kit.
Oh, God. The poor woman. What was in it for her?
I don't know, the glory.
What glory? That is absolutely fucking horrendous. That actually should be a crime. That should be a crime for him to do that, right?
Right. It was consensual.
Well, no. That sort of like pairing is not, by definition, not consensual.
There we go.
Oh my God. And the Chelsea kit makes it worse.
Yeah, it does. And it was one of those in the early 90s where it was pure polyester.
Oh my God.
So he was probably doing it and there was static electricity flying about.
Oh my. That should be against the law.
No, mate. He's a legend.
It's not consensual. It's just not.
Mate, listen, if that man was still Tory, I'd vote for them. I'd vote for them. He's like, prove that you've got a track record of success.
You should see this chat, and this is from the ladies as well. Mrs. J says she loved it, licking those teeth. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you people?
Listen.
No, that should be treated as a hate crime.
No.
Against humanity.
No. That is an MP who I would vote for, and I'll tell you why. Because I'll tell you why, right? Because he'd come on that podium and then I'd ask him a question. I'd say, give me a proven track record in where you got things done against all the odds. He pulls a picture up of that woman. He goes, I look like this and I made love to her whilst wearing a Chelsea football shirt. I'll be like, mate, sold.
You can deliver on your promises.
Deliver on your promises. A great man.
Anyway, so we were talking about Boris Johnson. So obviously they're going to carry on with the shagging.
Yep.
Right. That will carry on.
Yep.
They'll carry on with giving all their mates contracts.
Yep.
That'll be brilliant as well. No one seems to give a shit about either of those.
No. And why should they?
And why should they? It's only cronyism. Right.
Yep. All corruption.
But the main thing is, Francis, is that, and this is the point that I've been trying to explain to you about the two parties, not explain to you, trying to make the point I've been trying to make, is politics is a binary choice, unless you vote for the SDP like a cuck, right?
Which I did.
Which you did. And you therefore, basically, it's like removing yourself from the gene pool of politics. Your vote doesn't matter, right? Mm. And I love the SDP, William Clouston. I'm a big fan of yours. You're doing great.
And Rod Little as well.
Rod Little also.
Yeah.
Big fan of you both. But you know what I'm saying, right? Mm. So you either vote Tory or you vote Labour.
Yeah.
Right? Now, look, the Tories are going to shag around. The Tories are going to give money to their mates. That's sort of priced in. When you vote Tory, you're voting for that. You're almost encouraging it.
Yeah,
right?
You are.
But they've handled the vaccine thing reasonably well, right?
I mean, that was more the NHS than the Tories.
Well, they are in charge, right? If it had gone badly, they would have been blamed.
Yeah, completely. So, you've got to give it to them for that. That's one thing of this pandemic.
Yeah. And then, so they've done all right, but then there's no credible opposition. So it doesn't matter what they do. Like I said. Also, by the way, I think we're since we are going into 90s shagging.
Yeah.
You know what? To me, the most impressive man of all was Paddy Ashdown.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what did he do?
Oh, crushed it.
Did he?
Anton's already typing vigorously over there. I can hear it.
Yeah, but Paddy Ashdown was an incredible man.
Yeah.
He was a former SAS.
Yeah. Yeah. Very smart, handsome guy.
Mate, Paddy Ashdown would have destroyed anyone in a fight.
Yeah.
That's a powerful man. Plus, leader of the Liberal Democrats. Women love a powerful man.
Anyway, Mahala has sent us a £2 PayPal. Says you can call it losing Labour or from Sir with love. Okay. Thank you.
Let's see. Right. So.
Oh, Anton is fully on board. There you go. It's Paddy pants down.
I had 5-month fling with my secretary. Wife says we've been happy for 30 years.
Well, of course, he was busy shagging a younger woman.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Paddy Ashdown, R.I.P.
Yeah.
So
I actually forgot that he passed away. I had a lot of respect for that man.
Yeah,
not for that particular incident. Just
he was a great man. Served his country.
Yeah.
Served his party with distinction. Still found time to get his leg over. In other words, a real man.
Great lad. Brendan O'Leary with the £2 says, let's have the hamon cam.
It's much sexier. Anyway.
Okay, can you do a gammon speech in Spanish?
Buenos, los humanos, somos. I don't know. I can't think. What could I say in Spanish? Queremos nuestro país libre.
Keep our country free.
Yeah. There you go.
I speak better Spanish than you.
Anyway, next. Mr. Turnip, Starmer has a personality as wooden as a fence he sits on. Could be. Naomi became a YouTube member. Welcome
Why did
home.
You look at me halfway through that?
Because it's exciting. We've got Naomi, and she's a YouTube member. Thank you, Naomi.
Naomi, thank you very much.
Next. Wayward Blues. I smashed like. How about you? I smashed like. You should too. Spoken like a true musician. Thank you, Wayward Blues. You're a scholar and a gentleman.
We are 90 likes away from carrying on the show 7 minutes from now. So a few more of you biggers need to smash that button. Francis, shall we talk about this?
Do you think there'll be another lockdown with this Indian variant? Worries. We'll be shouting in rage if there will be. Well, this generic.
Well, apparently the vaccine currently prevents you from, it's effective against this variant.
Yeah. So let's see.
So they say.
So they say.
So what do you reckon?
I reckon we'll be another lockdown, mate.
When?
3 months.
Let's do a little 1 versus 2 poll in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you think there will not be any more lockdowns, or put a 2 in the chat if you think there'll be another lockdown either shortly or this winter. 1 in the chat, no lockdown coming. 2 in the chat for another lockdown this winter.
Right, let's see what we've got. I wonder how positive people will be.
It's all 2s, mate.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's a few 1s, but it's all 2s.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh dear, I think that there's a couple of 1s, but mainly 2s.
Well, I can tell you now, I will not be obeying any more lockdowns under any circumstances. I am absolutely done.
Okay, let's see what happens. Next, molasses. My girlfriend and even more so her friends are all woke, and every time they hang, she comes back with all these stupid ideas like cultural appropriation, etc. Help. Destroy her with facts and logic, then destroy her in the bedroom.
Francis, I was actually going to put this question to you, and I think we deserve more detail because you are a fan of the woke lady. Yeah? You know, give us some proper advice for managing that.
Take the piss. Genuinely. If you make someone laugh, then you're already in. I say to Poon Poon, she starts banging on about stuff. I go, shh, shh, shh. Someone's being oppressed over there. Go and help them. Go and help them. Quick, go. And she laughs, and then she calls me a dickhead, and then I win. Yeah,
but the problem with molasses here is, my understanding is, he has no problem getting in there. It's the fact that she annoys him.
That she annoys him.
Take the piss.
Look, take the piss, have a laugh, but also accept that the person you're with, your partner, there's going to be things you like and there's things that you dislike about them. And it's all about whether you find that tolerable. And
it's also like doing a show together, really.
Exactly. And also it's about realizing that politics isn't that important. What's more important is the feelings that you have for each other. There we go.
Bosspot says, do you love her more than her workery irritates you or not?
What?
Does your feeling of love for the Poon Poon, or for Poon Poon, I should say, let's not confuse the two, does your feeling of love for her trump your irritation at her wokeness?
I don't think she's not actually particularly woke. She's just mentally left-wing. Those two things are completely different, actually.
Someone's getting tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm here and Anton's here.
Francis, do you realize there's a niche in the market for you?
What?
You could teach people how to date. You could teach normal men how to date woke women.
Yeah. Just take the piss. Make them laugh. Unless they're so woke that they don't have a sense of humor, in which case you're fucked.
Anyway, MK with a 499 says, when is GB News starting and where? Well, I do believe it's in London.
It's do believe it's in London. It's on channel 236, if I remember correctly.
Don't think it is.
It is.
Is it 236?
Yeah, I think it is 236. And apparently starting soon. The day of the hasn't been specified, but we'll see.
We do know, but we can't tell you. Sorry.
July 17th. I'm joking.
You better not be July 17th, you fucking idiot. Anyway, Artur Alvarez Caballé.
I just want your previous recording. If that Labour convention showed the correct leadership, voting for that party is an act of necrophilia.
It is not the current leadership, but I actually read a very interesting transcript of a podcast between a lady called Julia Galef and a political scientist who was on Obama's team as a 20-year-old, who was a political data scientist. And he talked about all sorts of very interesting things about how, why particularly democratic politics, but also politics on the right, tends to be irrational in some of the ways that they behaved. And it was really interesting in that he talked about, essentially, he actually said that people, the public, Francis, you look like you're in some kind of trance, mate. What's going on?
I'm listening to you. I'm just making love to the camera.
Is that how it looks normally?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that explains a lot of Poon Poon's behavior. Anyway, so he was talking about the fact that the public are right, in his opinion, to perceive that the Democratic Party is going very far to the left because, and he explained why. He said that basically the people who go into politics, particularly democratic politics, are completely unrepresentative of the country. The people who go into politics tend to be super young. So the median voter is 50 years old. The average age of the Obama campaign staff was 26.
Wow.
Right? They're super young. They're hyper liberal, way to the left of any median, even Democratic voter, let alone ordinary voter in the country, and so on and so forth. And one of the interesting things that he was talking about is he said that he believes the Democratic Party should continue and in fact do more to encourage ethnic minority candidates into positions where they run for office, because the Democratic Party, in terms of people who can run for it, no longer has any sane white people left. Because if you want to be in the Democratic Party and you're a straight white man, you have to adopt insane positions. You cannot talk about community. You cannot talk about being tough on crime. You cannot talk about religion as minority candidates are able to. So really, really interesting interview. I think the guy's name is clearly a Jewish guy as well. I think it's David Hoor, Hoor. He was really, really interested.
Right. So could you stop advertising other people's podcasts on our show?
It's a great podcast. Let's find
out. Do you
out.
think they were advertising Trigonometry, mate?
No, probably not.
No.
Because we're very problematic. But anyway, we have enough likes on the Raw Show to carry on. We have nearly 1,800 bigots watching. So let's get to 1,000. We'll carry on anyway, but let's get to 1,000 by the end of the show. And we do have £2 from Gareth. Gareth from Northern Ireland. So sadly, the Mela accusations were not true. Antonia DeSancha, a soft porn actress, admitted she made it up, including the toe suck. The toe sucking.
Toe sucking.
That said, it started a new craze in the bedroom, and Mela's reputation as a top shagger endures. So this is fake news.
No, it's not. It's
fake news.
I bet he didn't actually say anything. He just went, yeah, shagged her.
I mean, you would not deny that even if it was true, would you?
No, even if you were
married. If you
married.
look like that, mate, come on.
And she said it, you'd be like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I did it. There's lots of bombs in the chat, which we didn't ask for, but that's what we want.
Yeah, that's great. Let's have some
Gingerbread Man says, KK, smiley face, what the fuck is that accent?
Exactly.
It's Northern Irish, mate.
It really is.
They don't say mate. What do they say in Northern Ireland instead of mate? Pal? They say pal in Scotland.
Pal.
What?
What?
They say mate.
Mate.
What?
Mate.
Okay. All right, let's see. Wayward Blues. Everyone should get Sebastian Rushworth's new book, COVID, Most of What You Know Is Wrong. He was on Ivor Coven's show.
Interesting. FF is making love to the camera like Boris is making love to his mum.
Yeah.
Correct. People advising me to give up the accent attempt in the chat. Never going to happen.
No.
There is no accent.
There we go. But
yeah,
there is some good news.
Is there?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a miracle for menopausal women.
Yes. Retired bleeders, rejoice. There is a solution. Take the vaccine. Postmenopausal women report periods coming back after having COVID-19 vaccine. That's what you want. Take a little jab, get your bleeding back.
Researchers are investigating whether disruption to the menstrual cycle is caused by jabs after hundreds of women describe the symptoms. Some postmenopausal women are suffering unexpected periods after receiving a dose of the coronavirus vaccine, scientists say.
Yes, that's what you want. Get your period back.
Yeah.
Get your periods out for the lads.
Researchers are investigating the report to see if the disruption to the menstrual cycle is caused by the jab. No proof has yet been found linking the inoculations to the unusual reproductive system, but a growing body of anecdotal evidence has led scientists to begin probing the reports. Professor Tim Spector, an epidemiologist at King's College London, said earlier this month that the symptom tracker app Zoe was monitoring reports of period-related side effects. At the moment, there are just a few hundred of these.
Just a few hundred, that's fine.
Which, given that we have over about 6,000 women who have been reporting, is a small number, he said.
Well, or alternatively, if it's 600 women, then it's 10% getting their periods back.
But we are taking it seriously, and we're going to start asking more questions in the report. More data was needed in order to determine if the link was real or just a statistical quirk, he said. Dr. Kate Clancy, a medical anthropologist at the University of Illinois, wrote on Twitter about her own experience of unusually heavy blood flow after receiving the Moderna vaccine. A colleague told me she has heard from others that their periods were heavy post-vax. I'm curious whether other menstruators have noticed changes too.
Come on, get the language right. It's bleeders.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about, love?
I'm a week and a half out from day one dose one of Moderna, got my period maybe a day or so early, and gushing like I'm in my 20s again.
Yeah, didn't need that. To be
Lovely.
honest. Just didn't need that image at all. But anyway, the chat, particularly from the bleeders, has been rather animated in response to this. Most of the ladies, I think, particularly of the retired bleeder variety, are saying they're not particularly keen to get them back. So there we go. Look, what can I say? You know, what can we say about this, Francis?
Well, just saying that maybe, right, you want a kid, you want another kid,
Yeah.
you know, but you're a lady who's been through the menopause.
Maybe in your 80s.
Yeah, a post-bleeder.
Yeah, retired bleeder.
Retired bleeder.
You can come back into active duty.
Maybe you want to come back into active duty. You want to get off the bench, as it were. You want to get those boots on after hanging them up. I can't think of any football-related metaphor we can use.
I mean, boots hanging them up, that does sound like the ladies were doing it in a professional capacity.
Yeah, and they might have been.
We're sex positive.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're not. So anyway, very simple. Get a shot of Moderna. Get on the blob again.
Yeah. Have a kid.
It doesn't matter if you're 80s. Just, you know, pop one out.
Just do it. Just
go for it.
Pop one out. If anything, might be easier.
Yeah. So anyway, by the way, and remember, if you haven't taken your vaccine yet, that's definitely irresponsible and bad, because this vaccine definitely does never, ever possibly could have any side effects whatsoever. We don't know, but it definitely doesn't. So make sure you take it. Otherwise, you're bad and wrong and evil, and you should be excluded from society.
There you go. Next.
Public service announcement. There you go.
Next.
Wayward Blues is on Raw, says, I guess I won't be probing any vaccinated women anymore. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
I bet you Anton loved that, though.
Yep. So let's talk about Shrek. Do you know this article sent everybody into a meltdown on Twitter? Oh yeah,
it's unusual.
Shrek at 20, an unfunny and overrated low for blockbuster animation.
Okay, so I haven't read this article. I've not seen it. Let me try and predict what it says.
Yeah.
It's probably some gimp in his or her, more likely, 20s. Yeah, there we go. Who bangs on about how it's problematic and offensive and not funny and this and that and stereotypical and whatever.
The fairy tale comedy was a hit with critics and audiences, but its toilet humor, glibness, and shoddy animation mark it out as a misfire. Shrek has an outhouse with a working toilet. It is not part of the film's cynical brand of irreverence that an ogre's latrine is supported by modern plumbing, and it's certainly not consistent with the hygiene of a swamp-dwelling beast who bathes in mud, brushes his teeth in slime, and boasts of a killer weed rat stew. But after our lime green hero literally wipes his ass with a fairy tale ending, it was apparently decided that the film needed that emphatic flushing sound before the Smash Mouth single All Star kicked in and the introductory montage could commence.
Just pause there for a second. Seren says last time KK didn't read the article, he found himself making fun of a cancer patient. This is true.
20 years later, that flushing sound seems to signify the moment when blockbuster animation circled the drain. Shrek is a terrible movie. It's not funny. It looks awful. It would influence many unfunny, awful-looking computer-animated comedies that copied its formula of glib self-reference and sickly sweet sentimentality.
Francis, can I ask a small question?
Yeah.
Why are we reading this?
Because the Guardian are cucks, mate. Do you like Shrek?
Not a huge fan.
Anton, do you like Shrek? Yeah. There you go. Anton loves it. And we're here to please our producer. Isn't that right, Anton?
People are literally spamming zzz in the chat.
Well, I can't help it. If you don't understand why I enjoy this movie, you need to get fucked.
You identify with the main character?
Yeah, I do.
There we go.
There we go.
I can understand why you like the movie.
Yeah, we do. We've all kissed a woman, and then and then she gets very aggressive. Okay.
Really? Okay.
Moving on.
Excellent. Jamie Hayes with a tenner says, I'm appalled by you bigots. A whole hour with no mention of the magnificent new mayor of Bangor. Who's the new mayor of Bangor?
I don't know, Anton. Let's find it out.
I bet you some fucking gender fluid something. I don't even want to know.
Let's see who the new mayor of Bangor is. I bet it's going to be brilliant. Let's see. Anton.
There you go.
There you go.
Guessed it right. Wales' first non-binary council mayor elected to represent Bangor.
Let's see. Scroll down. That is a great look.
There he is.
No.
Well, maybe, what do you mean no? Maybe today he is binary in that he's a man, and then tomorrow he'll be whatever.
Let's see. Let's go down.
His name is Owen.
A council has elected the first openly non-binary mayor to represent a city in Wales. Owen J. Hercombe.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Great name.
Hercombe.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's his name.
Jesus Christ.
Hercombe.
Hercombe.
Became mayor after they were chosen by fellow councillors on Bangor City Council in Gwynedd.
Do you reckon he's the only non-binary in the village?
Very good joke. The world's first non-binary mayor said, and Wales's youngest ever elected mayor, Owen has secured their position in Wales's history books. The 23-year-old former deputy mayor has worked as a local councillor for the past 4 years, and at that time has dedicated their time and effort to the local community and wider LGBT plus community here in Wales. Owen identifies as non-binary and uses they/them pronouns. Non-binary is widely recognised under the transgender umbrella and is considered a minority within the LGBT plus spectrum.
Their work has been inspiring over the years, and their new position breaks down the stereotypical scope of local and general politics across the globe where people don't think it exists. With the news amassing over 43,000 likes on Twitter, so some retards on Twitter liked it, that therefore means that it's groundbreaking and whatever, and going viral. The news has touched the lives of countless LGBT plus people who were desperate to become the mayor of Bangor.
Yeah.
And already showcasing something that Anton doesn't want us to read. Last year, Owen was featured on Wales Online Pink list for the extraordinary and selfless work they've done for the LGBT plus community here in Wales, speaking on countless panel discussions and being so basically just talks, mainly on Twitter, no doubt. Being a vocal advocate, to be fair, that's what I do as well.
Yeah.
Being a vocal advocate, Owen's work is a true reflection of their character.
Scroll down. It's a privilege and an honour to have been trusted to this position by Bangor, the new mayor said. I serve at the pleasure of the council and the fantastic team. I really want to use my personal position to bring PR for Bangor. Bangor is really a melting pot of cultures and identities, and that's what makes it so great.
Nothing makes it great, mate. Let's be honest.
Let's see. There he is.
Okay. It's a guy in a dress, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't look great in it, but that's fine. That's fine.
Owen's new position is a snapshot of modern politics in Wales. Owen said they owe their confidence and ability to flourish as councillor to colleagues in Bangor City Council. Anyway, I think we've seen enough.
No, we haven't. I want to read the rest of this. I need to know what's his name? Owen Hercombe? Owen Verges?
Yeah, their name is Owen Hercombe.
Good. So city councils have a reputation of being full of old stuffy people with out-of-date ideas and out-of-touch policies like two genders. And that couldn't be further from the truth, Owen said. The city council that I have the pleasure of being in is fantastic. Everyone is not only working their hardest, but when I came out and went to meetings, I came out whilst being a city councillor. The response was, I just want to support you. How can I do that? I've been so humbled by all the support they've given me. Maybe it's my own prejudice, but I was worried that they weren't going to support me because there are local councils and local councillors who are stuffy, but they're not. They're amazing. Is he talking about another non-binary person or other people? I can't tell.
Other people.
Other people. All right.
Coming out as non-binary 2 years ago, Owen's public-facing role in politics led them to become a public figure and a positive Welsh role model for the non-binary and wider LGBT plus community, hoping their new position inspires LGBT plus people to climb political roles.
All right. Look, it's fine. You know what? You want to be non-binary, Anton? Let's you know what to do. It's fine. Be what you want. No one cares. what you are. Just go and be a mayor and do stuff that people of the city care about, like having it's supposed to get the bins removed or whatever the fuck your position is. I don't know. Do they have bins in Wales? Probably they do, right? Get the bins removed on time. No one cares about your fucking pink hair or blue hair or your fucking
green
dress.
hair.
Whatever hair. I don't care what. I self-identify their hair as pink.
Yeah. Do you like her cum?
In limited quantities.
Right. Next.
Jesus Christ. Anyway. Watcher with 100 rubles.
Oh, yes. How much is that?
About 3p. It says, Insomnia finally did good, and I get to see you live. Live the show. I think he or she meant love the show. Keep making us laugh and think. The hairs looks refreshing, guys.
All right.
Is it?
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very much, Watcher. And AA with a 5 says, unrelated question. What is your audience age demographic?
Well,
the bleeders are mostly retired, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's old women in their 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
That's who we play to.
Exactly.
So
they're a great crowd.
They're a great crowd.
We basically just robbed their pension books.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Consensually.
Maria with a £2 says, what do you get when you cross PMS with ESP? A bitch that knows everything. There you go.
There you go. Next.
Thanks, Maria. I'm glad you're a woman that said that. Otherwise, we'd all be cancelled.
It's noon. I'm drunk. I love you all. Thanks, Wayward Blues.
Thanks, Wayward Blues.
You're a good man. Arturo Alvarez Kawai. Yes, a 23-year-old mayor is just what Bangor needs. Cannes London with Bale in comparison 40 years from now. 25 Bob.
People are now putting their ages in the chat.
Yeah, good.
It's interesting. Mostly, I mean, we don't have anyone under the age of 28 so far.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Let's talk about mingy little slags.
Really?
Yes.
That's a nice
particular.
segue. Oh, we have a Saren is 23. That's interesting.
Okay. In particular, graduates.
Ricky's 26.
Graduates.
Vita is 25. Anton edging towards your range.
Yeah. Right. As much as I like you just reading out the ages of our audience,
Lolo is 21.
Great stuff. Graduates like
Naomi is 34.
Yeah.
Bad Omen is 25. JS Powell's 300, apparently. Ikiai claims to be 19, which he's not. Eric says, I'm 12. What is this? You better not be fucking 12, mate, because that would be illegal.
Yeah.
Someone claims to be 3, 12, etc. Anyway.
Okay, let's get on with the next one before everybody turns off.
They're loving it.
No, they're not.
They are.
The people who get their name read out are loving it. Nobody else is. Right. Let's talk about graduates.
Mingy little slags.
Mingy little slags.
Excellent.
Graduates like life experience and hardiness to cope with frontline police chiefs warned. Forces in danger of having a disproportionate and unbalanced mix of inexperienced recruits at a time when officers face increasing violence.
Graduate-only entry to the police risks an influx of recruits who lack the life experience and hardiness to cope with the increasing violence that frontline officers face, a chief constable has warned. Nick Adderley, chief constable of the Hamptonshire Police, said the plans to make policing a graduate-only profession from June the 23rd could create a perfect storm of pink-haired officers facing actual criminals.
Police forces are currently nearly halfway through a major recruitment of 20,000 new officers, which coincides with the full introduction of graduate entry, either through taking qualifications as part of an apprenticeship or joining as a graduate. Mr. Adley told Police Oracle there was a danger of police forces having a disproportionate and unbalanced mix of inexperienced, very young recruits. We've got a perfect storm brewing here. We've got a very young workforce who think they're invisible, as in it can't possibly happen to me.
Does he mean invincible then? I imagine that's what he meant. Yeah.
And we have got a society.
No, Anton, I think this is best done in the gammon cam, this one.
And we've got a society which is becoming more violent with a preference to use violence. So police officers are more likely to be injured. When I speak to all of the cohorts who come in, I tell them quite clearly, this is not an extension of university, you little slags. This is not an extension of sixth form college, you pussies. This is a really serious business.
So man up.
Man up. And that includes everybody else who's worried about what gender they are. Man up.
He said some of them were a bit taken aback by the role and the way he speaks to them. In Northamptonshire, recruits have even walked out of training after undergoing sessions using a self-defense suit, saying they did not realize there would be that level of violence. They had also had officers saying they didn't realize they needed to work evenings and weekends. Mr. Adderley said there were some who were going to get a real shock when the nighttime economy fully opened up after the roadmap out of lockdown.
Look, by the time it fully opens, you're going to all be retired anyway, so chill out, you'll be fine. One way Northants is tackling the problem is by pairing younger officers with more experienced staff. However, with 40% of the workforce with less than 4 years' experience, the dilution was going to continue over the next couple of years, said the Chief Constable. We know that as we carry on over the next 3 or 4 years, the number of officers with less than 4 years' service is going to continue to increase. So effectively, what you're going to have is sergeants and some inspectors who are equally inexperienced.
He said the result was the force experiencing more officers suffering from mental ill health and more going off sick for injuries. Bernie O'Reilly, interim chief executive of the College of Policing, said the recruitment of an additional 20,000. Okay, cool. So anyway, basically, apparently, if you just take people at the age of 18, put them into a work indoctrination camp, aka university, for 4 years, and then put them in the police, doesn't really then prepare them for the realities of life. Who would have thought that?
Do you think that the police should be a graduate only?
God, no.
Why?
Well, because first of all, you need people from all walks of life to be in the police.
Why?
Because the police are mostly dealing with people who are not graduates themselves. You have to be able to speak their language, understand the local culture, be able to communicate with all sorts of different types of people. So I think you need a nice mix, don't you?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't think it's a graduate-only profession. I think that's utterly ridiculous. I think the qualities that make for a very, very good police officer are probably not the same qualities that enables you to write a banging essay in media studies. Just saying.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's crack through some super chats, and then, KK, we'll talk about another story.
Yeah, will we?
Yeah, we will. So, Anton, Adam Hughes, I live in North Wales myself. Bangor is more of a block toilet than a melting pot. Good luck to them. Thanks, Adam.
AA sent us £2.30 and says his age or her age is 23.
Okay.
Good.
Anything else, Anton? Molasses, over to you, mate.
How much for KK to dye his hair green? I don't actually need to dye my hair green. If I take my non-lizard suit off, I'll be green completely.
Exactly. But we don't do that because it'd break the illusion that he's a human being.
Exactly. Plus, it's hard to control the bangs when you look like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
John
you don't look like this when you look like an actual lizard.
Nick Adderley would be an excellent guest. One of very few non-woke chief officers. Thanks.
Someone in the chat also says nobody likes you when you're 23. Well, unless you're a lady and you're in the vicinity of Anton.
Yeah, that is a reference to a Blink-182 song.
Don't know what that is, man.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about there's going to be a crisis hitting the UK, mate.
Yeah.
Over summer.
Can I just say something before we talk about that? Brady says lizards don't have hair, as if the main inaccuracy in what I said is the fact that lizards, when I take off my human suit, the lizard underneath won't have hair. That's the real. Yeah.
Anton, you know what to do. We're in for a big shortage this summer, and it will mean that it's not a proper summer.
Oh, there we go, Francis. This is a food scandal to get upset about. Look at that.
This is a food scandal. If this is Brexit, then I'm going to kick off.
Yeah.
Give
me back my flakes.
Yeah. Britain is facing a shortage. Then we scroll down. Is facing a shortage of Cadbury 99 flakes because of an unexpected surge in demand. Despite the recent wet and cold weather, Mondelez, which owns Cadbury, has said that it's running short of supplies of the chocolate bar. We're seeing a recent increase in demand for our Cadbury 99 flake. Carry on. In
the UK and Ireland that we had not expected. Mondelez, a multinational that also owns Dairy Milk, Milka and Toblerone, did not...
Toblerone, you... Toblerone.
Toblerone.
What the fuck?
Remember, I went to private school.
Yeah.
Did not say how long it expected the shortage to last and insisted that the chocolate was still available to order. The majority of 99 flakes, which are half the size of the flakes sold at newsagents and petrol stations, are manufactured near Cairo.
What is going on? This is globalization gone mad.
Some are made in Coolock near Dublin. The news prompted alarm. What?
Of course it did.
What? Anton, just can we have the camera full screen? What is wrong with people? It's a fucking chocolate bar. How did it prompt alarm?
Mate,
alarm.
Mate, the 99 flake is a British institution. Anton, get the cam on. The 99 flake is a British institution. It's part of what makes this country great. It's part of what makes this country better than everyone else. It's part of what makes Britain Britain. Right? Give me back my flakes. Anton, it's summer without the British 99 flake. Shut up. No one cares about you. You're not English. Right. Anton, this is important. You're speaking for a nation here.
I actually prefer my ice cream without the flake in.
Correct. Get wrecked. Anton's more English than you, mate. Well, actually, no, he's not.
He's not.
Anyway.
But with comments like that, it's just fucking proving it.
Anyway, for those of you who are not from the UK or have never been to the UK, basically what happens in this country, you won't be familiar with this. So you're thinking, when we talk about ice cream, you're thinking like Italian gelato made with fresh pistachios or fresh strawberries or whatever. No, basically the way it works in this country, right, is that there's a little pedo van that drives around, usually with a Mediterranean-looking hairy man, right, that plays a little pedo song. All the kids run along, and the man pulls up the shutters on his van, right, opens it up, and in there is some kind of machine that basically converts sugar and exhaust fumes into ice cream, right? And he pulls this down, and out of this abomination comes some kind of white paste, the taste of like right, into a cone that's made of cardboard. Yeah. Right, so he takes the sugary cardboard cone, then he farts this liquid, this sort of like blob, into the thing, right? And at the end of that, he goes, "Do you want a flake with that?" Right? And he takes some pre-manufactured flaky chocolate piece of shit and he sticks it in it, and this is the national delicacy of this country.
And then you get a topping on top, like drizzled over.
And the alarm that this is prompted is that you can no longer put the flake into the shit ice cream. This is the culinary history and culture of this nation.
It's a beautiful tradition, and you, my lad, need to learn some fucking respect.
I'm loving the chat. It's going mental. I think this is the closest I've been to a cancellation.
Eric Siverton, PS5 shortage is more serious. It's not, mate. No one gives a shit about PS5. A flake is a beautiful British tradition.
Look at the chat. It's melting down. I knew it would get that reaction. That's why I exaggerated it so much.
What he's done is unforgivable. It's unforgivable. He's disgraced this nation.
The chat is literally melting down.
We brought him in.
People are saying, deport him. This is hate speech. Hanging is too good for him. Wash your damn mouth out, in capitals.
We brought him in when he was a refugee to this country.
Was not a refugee. I came here. My family spent about 100 grand paying for your shit education.
Right. Because he was a refugee from a third world nation. And we brought him into this country. We looked after him against our better interests. We gave him a passport, right? I don't know the last time he's paid tax. Neither do you.
I pay my tax, unlike you. Cheers, pal. One of our moderators and most loyal supporters says, ungrateful KK.
Yeah, exactly. And he comes out with this filthy shit.
Oh, I think I'm getting cancelled. There we go. Read this.
William Charlesworth. Best description of a 99 ice cream, KK. I'm starving. What the... 99 flakes. Built the British Empire. Respect the code.
Respect the code.
Exactly.
Bob says radioactive flake for Sisson.
I've got 99 problems and an ice cream is one.
Thanks, Rachel.
Margaret Thatcher was on the scientific team that invented Mr. Whippy, you slag. Thank you, Mikey. Ush, Irish flakes for Irish ice creams. Keep your spiff hands off our flakes.
Exactly.
KK, you were double plus unbased. That's Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie. Is that it?
Right. And on that, incredibly...
Akash Ahua says KK is now on the same level as Savile. Mycroft says, rather change of tone. I think KK is right to say the snowflakes. No. Okay, I think KK is right to say people are more likely to be accepting of the sleaze as long as there are opportunities to elevate themselves. True.
Brilliant stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and Zers of all genders, thank you so much for joining. If you've enjoyed it, follow us.
Hold on. We have a PayPal. We have 2 PayPals.
On all the social media platforms
hold
before.
on. Simon Roper with a £30, and he says, thank you, Simon. And the other problem we have is last time at the end of the Raw show, we had a £5 that came into the PayPal from Maximilian, and we didn't have the time to read it because the email wouldn't come through in time. And we now have another one from Maximilian, another £5.
Well, why didn't he fucking email us earlier?
I don't know. He's just come in and I can't get the email up, so I don't know what's going on.
Maximilian?
Oh, there it is. It says 99 flakes should be renamed as 99 snowflake and produced in Bangor, Wales, and sold by people in Chelsea shirts. You top shaggers. Maximilian, what a brilliant way to end the show. Thank you very much. There we go.
I'm from Toxteth, and Flake has single-handedly brought the community together. Thank you very much, Mr. Winter.
But it is Toxteth.
Yeah, a great place. Now,
don't stab me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We will see you with a brilliant interview tomorrow with the wonderful Simon Jordan, former owner of Crystal Palace Football Club, businessman, and we talk about the politicization of sport. Very interesting conversation. Also had a few tasty comments about COVID and the government's handling of it. You do not want to miss that. We will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m., won't we?
We will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Follow us on all the social media, Instagram,